You're listening to the Business Mike podcast. Amazing interviews with entrepreneurs and industry thought leaders.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Business Mike podcast. And joining me today is Federico. Federico, welcome to the show. And can you let the listeners and viewers know a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Okay. Thanks a lot, Daudi. It's a pleasure to be here, and also welcome to your audience. You mentioned what is my background, what I'm doing, especially I suppose in the area of customer experience management, voice of the customer. So, well, my background is I always worked, let's say, in the area of marketing analytics for big companies, and basically I started my first big customer experience or customer feedback management project back in 2004. When I was director of customer insight in a pan-European telecommunications company, and basically, I put together some piece of existing software, and at a certain point I realized, okay, but there is not really a good software to support the whole customer experience management framework. And so in basically 2010, I decided to leave that big operator and to start, my own company together with the other partners, of course, not alone. And now it was 2010. Now we are in 2024, so time fly, and basically we are still here, still offering, of course, not the first version of the software we have developed, but we are improving, and we try to offer to our clients the best customer experience as possible, managing the customer experience of their clients. So this is really, in a nutshell, what I'm doing. The company you can read on the screen is Sandsiv, and we offer an end-to-end customer experience voice of the customer solution.
Right. I have two questions to follow up on that. The first one is my curiosity to do with the people that I interview on this show. Many of them tend to come from a marketing background, and I'm now starting to draw a link between professionals that are in customer experience and those that transition from marketing in particular. Why do you think that is? Why is it that of all the fields, people could come from data analytics, they could come from IT, but marketing is the one where a majority of the people in customer experience tend to come from? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it is not an easy question, Daudi, but I would say customer experience has a lot to do with managing the expectations of your client, and to manage the expectations properly, the first step is to set those expectations correctly. So I always say you cannot be, Singapore Airlines and EasyJet at the same time, because you have two totally different, goals, strategic goals, and you have two different expectations, and you set two different expectations to your clients. So, having said that, you see that basically setting expectations was always, on a certain extent, the role of marketing, or communicate what are what we want to offer to you with our product or our service has always been, in the field of marketing. And so for that reason, I think customer experience, despite the fact that it's a kind of, cross-functional activities, but as a solid base in the marketing area. And, indirectly, a lot of people in marketing are also interested in customer experience. I don't know in your area, but in Europe, lot of customer experience team are seated in the marketing department.
Yes, it's the same in many of the regions, including the one I work in, which is East Africa. That tends to be the pattern. Marketing and customer experience are usually put together in one department. Well, that was the first question. The second is to do with the customer experience management, and you mentioned the company you work for, Sandsiv. But my question here is to do with the framework, if at all any exists. I read an article that you had put together, a paper, and it went into depth regarding customer experience management. Now, as someone who works on the side of a tool that helps businesses manage their customer experience, what sort of framework are we looking at in terms of where you come in and how we can make life easier for our customers?
Sure. And that's an excellent question. Yes, I mean, when I basically created or we have created the software Sandsiv, we started from a specific framework, and the framework was a paper that I wrote back in 2008. This paper is still available if people want to go to ResearchGate. The paper is available, and is a framework to manage customer experience, and is really focused, let's say, on listen the voice of the customer, understanding what are the positive things, the negative things that the customer are talking about, and then understanding how to manage the close the loop, which could be inner or outer loop, and then measure everything in a way that we can really manage the customer experience. So the framework has 5 steps: capture, analyze, integrate, improve, and measure. I will not go in details to all the steps, because otherwise we will spend here the whole time just talking about the framework. But again, the framework is available on ResearchGate, and basically capture the voice of the customer: direct, indirect, inferred, analyze. And when I say analyze, it's important, especially to analyze the verbatim, the text, so unstructured data. So be able to extract valuable and actionable information from unstructured data, and then integrate those information within the organization. So send the right information to the right people at the right time, and then definitely act. So close the loop. And close the loop means be able, to close the loop with the single customers that provide a feedback. So telling him, if he complains about something, what you are going to do in order to avoid that this will repeat in the future, or basically understanding the magnitude of those problems and starting change management process to improve the experience of the customer. And then at the end measure, have the ability to identify KPIs, could be net promoter score, could be customer effort score, whatever is useful for the organization, and basically be able to measure the whole process in a way that then you can really see if you are going in the right direction or not, about customer experience, of course.
Right. The follow-up question I have to that is, when it comes to implementing this framework and using a tool to support you, at what point does a software come in with regards specifically to all the stakeholders? So some softwares are particular to people that are client-facing, others are particular to departments, but you want something that cuts across all the key stakeholders and builds buy-in and understanding of what exactly customer experience is, so that they can appreciate it from whatever level they are. So the softwares on the market, yourselves included, what key considerations do you make when offering such a service to ensure that it's holistic in its deployment?
Yeah, and this is a good point. The first thing I would say, and I say against software, so against all of us, is customer experience management is first of all a mindset. So you need really the organization to have this mindset that now the customer is important. We want to listen to the customer. We want really to improve the customer experience, and we want to create a win-win situation. That is important. Then once the organization understands this, then you can put together or you can introduce a software into the organization. And as you mentioned, Daudi, this should be cross-functional software. So should be a software that goes cross over the different functions, and each functions can retrieve and get the best in terms of value in extraction, actionable insights, from the customer feedback. So there are a lot of criteria to consider when we think about managing customer experience, but the most important one is thinking about different personas and different departments have to take benefits from the software. So you need really an end-to-end solution. So I heard people thinking, okay, customer experience management is just sending service and receiving service, so we can use SurveyMonkey, for instance, to do that. But that is not true, because it's much more complex. The whole process is much more complex. You need to integrate, for instance, close the loop things. You need to integrate natural language processing capability, sentiment analysis, topic detection. So don't underestimate, and is extremely important to capture all the requirements from all the stakeholders, as you mentioned, Daudi, and have a clear picture on what are the needs and how the software can satisfy those needs.
Right. My next question is to do with a customer experience manager or a head of CX in an organization that's perhaps looking to buy a software. This person could have come across several options on the internet, and they may not have the technical knowledge to know what might necessarily work within the organization and what might not work, what's limited and what isn't, based on features and a few other things maybe that could be technologically related. So my question to you is, for those that aren't very tech savvy, if you have an organization that's looking to buy a software, what are some of the things you need to look out for that will not in the long term or short term affect you? In other words, it is difficult to get rid of it's difficult to get rid of the software after a period of time, or maybe it cannot necessarily integrate with some of the applications and softwares you have or complement it. So at a basic level, what are some of the key things that any software you adopt must at least have before you commit and take it on?
Yeah. Well, more or less, I would say, the software that are available on the market are quite mature. So in terms of features, we can have more or less the same offering from the players in the market. My strong suggestion is to have a look how easy is to integrate the software within your IT ecosystem. So understanding if your IT ecosystem is capable, for instance, to integrate to RESTful APIs and such a kind of interface technology. Also, ability to understand how flexible is the software in terms of for instance, importing historical data and merge historical data together with the new service you are going to erogate with the software. So I would be less worried about features, because more or less, all the players in the market offer 80-90% the same features. I would have a look more how flexible is the software to be accommodated in your IT architecture.
Right. And my next question is more of a personal one to you. What is some of the best customer experience management that you've seen being done in an organization, and what made it stand out for you?
Okay, that is an interesting question. I have a very clear example. It was a telecommunication company in Italy, and when we started the project, and it was back in 2016, they were really in a very bad position. So they had really horrible customer experience, a lot of complaints from the customer. So on one side, it was easy, to improve, because they went so bad that it was impossible to do worse than what they did. But I have to say, there was a clear, strong commitment from the CEO of the company. So the CEO of the company at a certain point in time said, stop, now we need to think about our customers, and we need to basically change our culture, change the way we work, and then basically the whole organization followed them in all the C-level. In basically 16 months, they were really able to I would not say excel, but to improve the customer experience a lot, and to move the net promoter score from extremely negative numbers to numbers around 10, 15. So, but the big, let's say, the important things was to have this support from the C-level guys.
Right. And next question for you is, the year is 2024. We're just starting it. We're still in January. So is there anything in particular, in as far as CX is concerned, for this year that you're looking forward to?
No, definitely. It's something that I've already started in 2023, but I think in 2023 was more let's say, in research and development. We are going to launch several features within our software using generative AI. So we will be able to offer solutions that speed up, the process for our clients, improve our client experience, which is what I'm looking for, from my side. So I see in 2024 generative AI really become extremely fast in the market.
Right. And as we wind down the interview, my audience is primarily made up of customer experience professionals, managers in positions like that. So is there any parting word of advice you'd like to share with them before we end the interview to start off the year 2024?
Well, no, as I said, the most important things when you run, a customer experience project, or when you are a manager in customer experience, is the ability, to involve and interest the whole organization. So that is the things that they really need to pay attention and really pay attention to play a role in education and the involvement of the C-level leaders. So this is really the big advice I would give to your audience.
Right. And if anyone would like to get in touch with you, learn more about Sandsiv and what you have to offer, where can they find you on the internet?
Well, they can find us on sandsiv.com URL. They can also contact me personally on LinkedIn. You see where it's here, my first name, last name, and you can find me on LinkedIn. And I'm always accepting invitations. And they can write me whatever they want, or of course they can write me on my email address, Federico.Cesconi@sandsiv.com.
Right. Well, Federico, I can't thank you enough for honoring my invitation. I wish you a happy 2024, and thank you for sharing your insights with us. We hope to have you back on the show again.
Thank you, Daddy. It was a big pleasure for me.